Good evening, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I'll wait for the notifications to go out. It is May 23rd, 2026. May 23rd, 2026. Hi, Joe. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Hi, John. Welcome. Hi, TG. Welcome. It's Memorial Day weekend already. Hi, Land Shark. Welcome. I mean, this week just flew. I actually thought yesterday was Thursday. Hi, user. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? And thank you for hitting the thumbs up. Oh, I had an interesting day today. How have you been, guys? Stalkers be stalking. Yeah, they do that. Yes. I know. I hear you, Lan. I think that's what you guys. Hi, Renee. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, it's been interesting, I guess is a good word for it. No gang stalkers, welcome. I love that. Hi, STL, welcome. I love some of your very creative YouTube handles. No gang stalkers, welcome. City of Fullerton, welcome. Let's see. Fight collar set up on an app, I think, for phone and computer. Alerts you when your pets leave the boundary. Oh, interesting. Well, I know that they have those electric fences. And I think it kind of zaps the dogs when they go near it. I don't have a dog, so I don't know, but I know one of my neighbors has one of those electric fences, and I think it keeps the dogs in. I've been better. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's been raining a lot here. I'm not complaining about the rain. Hi, Lorna. Welcome. It's Memorial Day weekend already. Like, it has been so dry here, but now we're getting so much rain like every day that you can't cut the grass. You can't really do anything. It's too wet outside, which kind of reminds me of when I moved here. When I moved here 7 years ago, it was exactly the same. I was living in my car. Everything was soaking wet, and in the middle of the day, it would start raining. Yeah, I remember when I moved here, I bought a couple of raincoats. One disappeared. And then another one I had on the back of a chair, and then I went to pick it up. It was sliced up. So my targeting started as soon as I got here. Yeah, they're out of control. Oh, it poured there too. Oh, in Texas, it rained. I think Texas is getting bombarded. They want Texas for data centers. I think the data centers are going up everywhere. It's going to ruin the country. It's going to ruin the environment. The animals will be freaked out. I remember when I lived in Manalapan, New Jersey, when I first moved there was a lot of vacant land. And then they started to build developments. When I say developments, it means like whole blocks of land would be set up to have hundreds of single family homes in what was called a development. And I lived in one of those developments. And when I first purchased, nobody had a fence, nobody had grass, there were no trees. I literally had hot air balloons landing in my backyard and deer Every night I'd look at my back window, there would be deer there. And then as the houses went up and the land that the deer would normally live on was taken away, you would see deer like scrambling in roads, getting hit by cars. We actually had a duck crossing at one point. It's just ruining everything. All the things that you look forward to and moving to the quote unquote country, or even, the outskirts of the suburbs is still really nice. They're ruining with the technology. Yeah, the stalkers are definitely out of control. It's not even just stalkers, it's cyber stalkers, it's the things that they do behind the scenes. You might not even see them, but it's whatever the handler is doing behind the scenes. The data centers, it's all about money and harvesting. Let's see, the largest data center is outside of Austin, 67 acres. That's not even that large because they're buying up hundreds and thousands of acres. And hey, if they were buying up only 67 acres of land, I'll raise my hand right now. Data center, I will sell to a data center. I will sell to a data center, and my neighbors will love the data center more than they love me. If anybody knows a data center that wants to move to 64 acres, I'm raising my hands. Normally, I would never do anything like that, but you know what? My neighbors deserve the best. Yeah, 67 acres is not a lot of land for a data center. They had offered in Kentucky, I think somewhat north of me. They had several thousand acres of land, and the farmer turned down $26 million. They were offered $26 million for their several thousand acres of farmland, and they turned it down. It was all over the news, the local news anyway. They have to keep records. Let's see. Data centers have to keep records on the 8 billion people. Data centers will push limits of the grid and pass the cost. Yes, that's what I heard. I heard that wherever the data centers are currently, that the local people in the communities are going to the local town meetings and complaining that since the data centers moved in, both their water and electric bills have increased, not a little bit, but dramatically. So they're definitely passing it on to the local people. Besides the fact, could you imagine the noise from those data centers 24/7, whether it's a hum or a buzz or whatever it is, that has to destroy the environment. There are bats around here. It'd probably drive them crazy. Birds. I mean, I remember like in New York City sometimes with the frequencies, birds would be flying into buildings. So yeah, horrible. It's just really bad for the environment all around. So guys, like, what do you think about Tulsi Gabbard? Like, nobody's really reporting about it in the news. You would think it would be all over the papers. When I say papers, it's like you'd think everybody would be talking about it. The only thing that pops up now is that there were allegedly some gunshots at the White House. We don't know if it's a psyop. We don't know if it's real. Remember to hit the thumbs up. Hi, Sir Judah. Billions of gallons. Wow. I mean, and I live around water, but I don't have billions of gallons of water around here. And if they're using up all of that water, what about the fire department? Where are they going to get their water from? And they need water to just cool other things. let's see, the three board members who passed it in Ohio, a center is the size of Manhattan. Residents showed out in numbers to protest, usurp the will of the people, and one council member's life was threatened. Wow. That's big, big, big business. If you're behind the camera lens, you're an actor. It's all scripted. Welcome to the circus that no one realizes we've been in for the past 249 years. Yeah, you know what? I think I was happier when I was blissfully unaware. Yeah, it's bigger than the 67 acres, right? Maybe it's 600. It's got to be hundreds of acres or thousands of acres. I know that they're going to be targeting Appalachia here. They have to, but I don't know how they're going to put them in the mountains. I mean, that would be pretty awkward and disturb the ground. And from what I saw in the news, that there was another sinkhole in Kentucky, but this one, I don't know, this one's a little suspicious. It's a little too round. It's a little too round. Very suspicious. Yeah, there's just so much going on in the news lately. I don't know what I want to pay attention to, getting the hell out of here or everything else that's going around. There's just too much. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, guys. They're taking our water, wanting us to go into 15-minute cities. We won't have any water. It'll be worth more than gold. Well, water, you can't live without water. And think about it, like everything that we do requires water. If we want to grow, a farm, we need water. If we want to wash clothing, we need water. We want to feed our animals, we need water. We want to prepare certain foods, like rehydrate them, we need water. I remember that the CEO of Nestle said that water was a privilege and not a right. Oh, please. Yeah, it's like breathing the air is a privilege and not a right, also. Anything that they can't tax, right? The CBDC coming to. Yeah, I've heard about that. And the thing is, because we're targeted and we're aware of so many other things, and there are so many people that are like living on the edge. They don't even have time to pay attention to half of this stuff. They don't even know what is in store for us. That's right. God created this earth, and water is God given when it is not manipulated. Exactly. Oceanside says, "Did you ever consider having people call in and give testimonies? I think your testimony videos are too short." Well, this is the thing with testimonies. I don't have the software. Hi, Elsie. Welcome. I don't have the software for people to call in. There are other targeted channels that pay a monthly fee for the software so that somebody can call in or that they can have a photo of somebody. Now, one, I don't have the funds to pay an additional fee. I've got zillions of animals to care for that cost me a fortune. There's a lot of software that I cannot download because I have Windows 7. In fact, I wanted to mention this. This is kind of important. I have a Cash App, and people had been donating sometimes through the Cash App. Well, somebody donated $14 today, which was really cool. I went to open up my app, and it will not open anymore because I don't have a 17. What is it called? I'll tell you in a second what it says here. Yeah, it says an update is required. You can still use Cash App from a desktop browser, but you'll need to update to the latest app version to continue on your phone. My latest app version is 15. They want me to update to 17. I have an iPhone 7. It does not update to 17. So, and I've mentioned this before to many people, I do not have access to the software or the apps because I don't have the required updates on my phone or the laptop. In fact, I continuously receive notifications that I need to update my browser, that my browser is out of date. Well, I can't because I have an out of date laptop. Let's see. Windows has a backdoor. Don't trust Bill. No, well, no, I don't trust that Bill from the gates of hell. Hi, River Bluff. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. Yes, I do remember the talk shoe calls. They might still be around, and people may listen to them, but I don't have the time for another platform. I really don't. Hi, Fred. Welcome. I mean, I still need to pay bills here. I don't have time for another platform. I've got too much going on here. Yes, use Linux as an operating system. I actually bought a Linux at the recommendation of somebody else. I haven't had time to look into updating my laptop. I mean, it requires time. Even getting onto my laptop and going through my hard drive and deleting things, and um, I have a lot of responsibility here. Yes, I mentioned about the sinkhole in Thomas Massey. Yes. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah. Yep. There's a lot of Kentucky news that I'm not thrilled with. I'm not thrilled with Kentucky. Yes, Kentucky's been in the news. Oh, it's been in the news for other things as well. A lot of police corruption. The civil rights lawyer has some of it, and there was another one of those police auditors. Hi, Nick. Welcome. Yeah, there's a lot of Kentucky news popping up. Remember to hit the thumbs up when you come in. The boomers who voted for Massey's opposition. It's very possible. I mean, that's pretty much what they did in New York City when they voted for that mayor. And oh no, Brandon's testimony. Brandon is going to be emailing them to me in parts because his testimony is extremely long. So there's the first one, which is an hour and 11 minutes. And I was just too tired. I had no idea that when I started reading, it was going to be more than an hour. And I was just exhausted. It takes a lot out of me. I am busy here all the time. And I have my own targeting going on here, some of which I don't discuss. And I've got a lot of animals to care for. So, and then other ridiculous issues that I have to address. So he's going to provide another testimony, and I don't know when. And it's very hard for targeted people because it re-victimizes them, and sometimes people don't want to talk about it. You have to be in the mood. There are some things that I look back on like I can't even believe I went through that. But do I want to talk about it again? No. I've done it already. I've provided so many testimonies already. Oh, know what else is good news? Good news. Romola D is home. So Romola D is home. She sent out a memo today that she just got home. When she settles in, she'll be telling us everything. She'll be back to reporting and stuff like that. And so Romola is home. Yes. And I've had so many people like ask other things of me. And one of the reasons why I do the testimonies where I read them, hi Pam, welcome, is because I don't always have time to talk on the phone. There are time zone issues. Sometimes people have to reschedule, and then that screws up my whole day. So, yes, I'm glad she's home too. I mean, what a nightmare for her. What a nightmare. I ended up reaching out to I'll tell you what they're called. They're a Citizens Commission on Human Rights. They are they're leaders in global protests. They have a documentary on psychiatric and pharmaceutical fraud. So they also have a legal team that's willing to go bat for somebody if they don't already have an attorney and they're being force medicated. In case anybody wants that information, it's called Citizens Commission on Human Rights. They do have a website. Let's see. John says every hour they keep you up, all 24 hours of the day, telepathically wake up Peter Thiel. Oh my goodness. That man has got no conscience. I'm convinced he has no conscience. Oh yeah, game theory. I love that professor, Nick. I mean, I do watch him. I've been subscribed to him. He is so good. He's like the best. I wish I had him as my history professor. I would have enjoyed it more growing up. I feel like I did not learn any history in junior high school or high school. I learned no history. The most history I learned was in was when I took a Native American class. It was a requirement for history when I was completing my undergraduate. It's like I was required to take a history class. That's it. I don't remember anything about history, politics, nothing. Besides the fact that I don't have much interest in politics. Peter Thiel, the reptile. River blesses friggin' lizards everywhere. Hi, Lorna, welcome. Yeah, we have to laugh about this stuff. Yes, history in school was just upper class white people story. The one thing I do remember though, let me think. I think this was in junior high school, and we were kind of forced to watch those old black and white movies of Nazi Germany and the Jews on the trains. That's sort of like embedded in my mind's eye. That's what we learned in history. That's what I remember having learned in history. I had only one good history teacher. I think it was in high school, Mr. Bender. One good history teacher. All the other ones were horrible. Yeah, his story. Exactly. It's his story. And it's a story for sure. Because most of his story is totally made up. Which is why they've changed the history books. They've changed the images. Yes, remember to hit the thumbs up, please. It helps the channel grow, gets the message out there, fights the algorithms. Yeah, it's all going to be lies. Yes. Yes, history is mostly rewritten every 100 years. Oh, that's horrible, Pamela. I think it's disgusting when they harass children. They don't even have the words to describe what's happening to them. Yes, most of our history books are just lies. I think I remember telling you guys, I'm going to say I was in my early 20s. Hi, Jerry, welcome. And I was working temporary jobs until I got a full time job. And back in the day, they had a lot of the temporary agencies were booming. Hi, Fiona, welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. Peter Thiel is an anagram for the reptile. And what about Bill from the Gates of Hell? The greatest image I have of him is when he got that pie in his face in New York City. You need to get that little girl some shielding. I don't know what you can do for her, but the shielding's got to probably work better on a child than on adults. Hi, JJ. Well, one of the temporary jobs I had was working for a book company, like a textbook editing. I had to do textbook editing as a proofreader. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'm proofreading the book, but they didn't want me to just proofread for punctuation or grammatical errors. They were sending me entire paragraphs and sentences to replace information that was there already. And I remember I was with my friend Helene at the time. We both took this job together, and I'm like, why are they making us edit the book? Why are we changing the text? I thought we're just, editing to change the punctuation, making sure it's grammatically correct, that there's a period at the end of the sentence. We have to reparagraphinate it. But no, we're changing the entire text of the textbooks. I didn't think anything of it at the time other than it was so bizarre that I had to do that. And now in hindsight, I'm like, they were just changing the textbooks. Like who gave them permission to do that? Let's see, does anyone have any good solutions when they use our cell phones as a weapon? It's painful being on these chats. I wish I could tell you. One of my latest shorts, my video was so bad because I was getting targeted. The phone was getting targeted. Somebody even commented that it was the worst assault that he's ever seen on a phone before. Yeah, you love those hand-me-down history books from the 1800s. Well, that's the one thing about this property is I have a lot of old books. A lot of old books. I didn't know back then. I did not know back then what I know now. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I should have rewrote the complete book according to Lorraine. Oh my goodness. Well, I wrote a not so nice letter to a lawyer today. Cell phone is their favorite weapon. Yeah, it is their favorite weapon. Where would they be without technology? Fiona says, just listening as under attack. Hell in the UK. Nice to hear you speak. Let's see. I have no solutions about the cell phone. I am the last person to talk to about cell phones. Oh, yes, they do steal books. Hi, Susan. Hi, Eden's Living. Welcome, welcome. Your brother was a lawyer. He became disbarred. I wonder why he was disbarred. Oh, I've got a list of lawyers that I would like disbarred. At the very minimum on the Brady's list. I would love to, I don't know how to get them on there. I can't even file complaints about these damn lawyers. Nobody listens. Let's see. Um Oh, books are the only thing they don't steal from you. Oh, I've had books stolen from me. And then they write in the books. They're really disgusting. You got due by your back neighbor. You're spinning. Happy holidays. Yeah, he's a live wire. Oh, Rothschild has taken over the education curriculum. Yes, yes. That's why school's all memory and the curriculum and falling in line. I saw that. Now, what is wrong with that turtle? The turtle dove. What's wrong with that dove? Is it moving? You think a frequency got it? It's in shock. If that's the case, then you're going to have to give it time and just give it food and water as long as it doesn't get hit again. Nick says, knowing those criminals can't read. That's probably why they attack the books. They're angry. They're so angry. Oh my goodness. These are angry people. Yeah, the frequency is getting worse. Well, they're popping up these towers everywhere. I've had books stolen from me. Even when I would loan books to people, I would never get them back. I remember even in undergraduate school, loaning books to people, never getting them back. I loaned books to neighbors, never got them back. And then, of course, you become targeted and they steal everything. Let's see, you can buy an organite device to attach to your phone. They're not people. Oh, you're so funny. It's so good that you've maintained your sense of humor. Riverbluff says, they haven't messed with my boxers in a while. Maybe I'm losing my appeal. They're changing your frequency. Maybe your magnetism. you know, they steal your underwear every time you do laundry. Oh my goodness. They just puncture holes in everything. Two of my turtlenecks that I just bought a few months ago, they sliced the underarms, they sliced the arms. One of them I just had to throw away. These are new clothes. Like I haven't even worn them enough to be even tattered in the slight, but they've got holes in the armpits. It could be drones paid by police services for the program. Oh, it can hop and walk, but it can't fly. Have you extended the wings to see if there's any cut or anything in it? I would just let it be for a while. Let it drink some water. Yeah, that's horrible. Um, I don't know what it eats. Does it eat berries or nuts? You might have to like get it some like worm or something. A bug, an insect. I don't know what doves eat. They must eat insects. Well, I found something on Quora. Let's see. Your neighbor uses 3 spotlights, 4 lamps. They burn your eyes and skin. That you break out in a rash. Mealworms. Oh, that's possible. My birds love mealworms. Well, if they eat seeds, like if you've got pumpkin seeds or sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, that might work. Maybe even raw oats. Oh, he's got a partner. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's so sad. Well, if you see that dove, if you see the partner dove, hi Nettie, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up. And then you have to wonder if it was done intentionally with the dove. You know, they like to do things like that. I've got some growling raccoons on the porch. They're growling. So this is 5 years old. This is a post on Quora that is 5 years old. And the heading is Gang Stalking is Homicide in Slow Motion. And this is for educational purposes only. I'm merely reading somebody's commentary. Stalking is homicide in slow motion. Victims of organized stalking do not have just one stalker, but dozens, hundreds, sometimes even thousands of agents working together to deny, disrupt, and destroy their life. Often, these groups are associated with Neighborhood Watch and Homeland Security partners who are simply following orders. This collective effort is made up of individual acts executed, quote unquote, deniably and often anonymously, so that no one particular person can be singled out, named, or held accountable for the crime. Oh, well, that's not true here in Jackson County, Kentucky. I can name names of everything that they've done to me. Well, everything that I know that they've done to me. Of course, there could be hundreds of thousands of things that I don't know what they've done. Their safety is in numbers. Like a swarm of wasps that attack a target collectively. No one individual wasp will be held accountable for the attack since they're only responsible for a few stings. Similarly, in regard to vehicular stalking, for example, if one person follows the victim wherever they go, they can easily be identified and held accountable. But when a dozen people follow the victim separately, they will appear to be part of a quote unquote normal traffic. They will not be identified, and none of them will be held accountable. Yet, the victim was successfully stalked all day. This is the formula that is used to evade all responsibility for this crime. Anonymity and incremental division of labor. Despite these tactics, organized stalking is still 100% illegal crime, and we victims deserve to be heard. We deserve the same kind of help victims of traditional stalking receive. The practice of organized stalking must be introduced into the curriculum. Oh, I agree. Please help this happen by contacting SPARC, SPARC, and make a request. If we do this collectively, it will have an impact. And SPARC is Stalking Awareness and Prevention. So I went to their website. So even though this post is 5 years old, SPARC's website is very up to date. And I'll read some of it after I look at the comments that I'm missing as I've been reading this. 1 second, guys. Let's see. You put birdseed in your bowls, perched by the water bowl. Oh, it's raining by you too? Let's see. You had the judge postpone fraudulent stalking order. The woman was clearly upset. She was ready I emailed the judge. She was so frightened of me, she parked her car closest to my driveway. Community stalking and harassing is a crime. I was just financially benefiting and following orders is not a criminal defense. Absolutely. That is not a criminal defense. Yes, they do mate for life. I mean, guineas mate that way too. Swans. A lot of birds do. It is human trafficking. It is trafficking. Hi, I'm God. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the hearts. Yes, it's unfortunate that you have to videotape these creatures every time you walk out of the house because you never know when you're going to capture something that's really important. So what you can do is just start recording, and if there's nothing that's important after you review it, is just delete it to save space. Oh my goodness, when the judge saw you, you had been at the hospital 3 times? Oh my goodness. That is horrible. Yeah, first they delete comments and then they delete us. Yeah. They're good at deleting. That's why they're called deletes. Let's see, your name is all I know, it's all there. These are criminal networks. Yes, the Mason stalkers never rest. And that's what they are. They are stalkers. So this Spark. Let me post this in the chat. So I'm posting a link to a flyer. It's entitled Technology Facilitate. Did you hear that, guys? Did you all hear that in the chat? The explosion? The explosion? Did you hear that, guys? Did anybody hear the explosion? You heard it? Yeah, another one. Yes. Oh, good. I'll report that one to Homeland Security too, because that's what I've been doing. You all heard it? Oh, I'm so glad you all heard it. I'm sure my cameras have it too. Yes, happy 7-year anniversary explosion. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. That's okay, all the losers in the neighborhood. You will not be getting my property. You're not going to scare me off. And I will keep filing. In fact, maybe it's time to file that federal civil lawsuit that it's been ruminating in my mind for the better part of a week. Because I have evidence and names of all the little fuckers around here that have been harassing me. Hi, Sue. Welcome. Nick says they couldn't have waited till midnight. They're demon possessed. Yes, save this recording. Anybody there that's recording it too, yes, we will be saving this recording, and I guarantee it's on some of my phone. And it's quite possible that I'll see which direction it came from. So when they do that, they think that it's only bothering me. They don't realize that there is wildlife out there. They don't realize that the wildlife this time of the year have babies. The bobcats have babies. The bears have babies. The coyotes have babies. Cats and dogs have babies. The ones that run wild around here, they all have babies this time of the year. But these losers don't care that they're upsetting the wildlife. Let's see, using a flashbang or incendiary device is illegal. Oh, they do everything illegal around here. Everything that they do is illegal. Yes, that's right. They know and they don't care. I'm so glad everybody heard the explosion, and that was at approximately 10:45 p.m. Approximately. A 10:42? Okay, you logged it at 10:42. Thank you. Yes, they have no concern about getting caught because the intelligence agencies higher up are running it. A 10:44. You've got 10:42, 10:44. So we've got an approximate time. I'm looking at the time on my laptop. Like right now on my laptop it says 10:47. So I'm going to say maybe it was around 10:44, John. Well, it's good. It's good that you've got friends, JJ, that can do that for you. Yeah, it could have been 10:44. Yes. Stalkers report to the FBI, and every FBI reports to Satan. Oh, these were not firecrackers. No, this was not a firecracker. They have done firecrackers before. I know the difference between a firecracker and one of those flash grenades. I got it. Okay, so what I have visually is there was a vehicle driving down the county road. A vehicle driving down the county road. You could see the lights. It drives just towards my driveway. I see a huge white light, and then I hear the sound afterwards. That was recorded at, let's see, I'll tell you. Yeah, that's approximately 10, let's see, 10:40, around 10:42, 10:43 p.m. That's only on one camera. But what I'm seeing here is they it looks like they disabled some of these the camera stuff. A flashbang. Yes, I'm going back to the cameras here. It says sound detected at 10:43.
Do you all hear that in the chat? The explosion? The explosion? Did you hear that, guys? Explosion? You heard it? Yeah, another one. Yes. Oh, good. I'll report that one to Homeland Security.
Yeah, the camera says 10:43 p.m. And what these criminals have done is they have fast forwarded. They did.
It is trafficking. I am God. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the heart. Yeah, it's unfortunate that you have the video take this creature doesn't come to walk out of the house. You never know when you're going to capture something that's really important. So what you can do is just start recording, and if there's nothing that's important after
So I'm playing one of these back.
Oh my goodness, when the judge saw you, you had been at the hospital 3 times? Oh my goodness. That is horrible. Yeah, perfectly commenting between us. Yeah.
Yeah, they have interfered with some of these recordings already. The little fuckers. That's okay, you fuckers. Yes, I did contact ATF last time. I actually filed 4 complaints. So this will be the 5th complaint when I file it. Yes, somebody has interfered with this video already. Yes, you're right, Sir Judah. The country and small town areas are the most corrupt. A creepy hit the like button. Yeah, they do. They do that here too, Pam. Yeah, they're not allowing me to get this video here, but that's okay. I screenshotted the explosion on the driveway. We'll get it. It says 10:43 p.m. Yeah, It was a flash grenade, absolutely. It is hypocrisy, Joe. Yeah, it was a flash grenade. I'm just going through my phone right now so that these don't disappear. Yes, we all heard it. It's recorded here. And so far, I've got 4 recordings from my phone. They are interfering with it. They're interfering. Got it. Got another one here. So yeah, so this is another evidentiary video. And while while we're all here, let's see. It seems to me there was a metallic sound with the explosion. That's very possible. And I appreciate that feedback. Nick says, let's all move to Lorraine's place and watch the fireworks. Hey, y'all, welcome to hang out. Yes, I need a good civil rights lawyer. Well, you know what? Like I said, I've been ruminating on a lawsuit all week. It's not something I like doing, but I have to tell you, I'm damn good at filing lawsuits. I really am. Let's see what you have to do because my evil name was hacked into my surveillance cameras down. Download it to your phone and immediately put it on a USB drive. Okay, gotcha. Send a copy to the president's office. Well, I haven't done that yet. I filed complaints with the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, the ATF, the Attorney General. Not on everything, though. Yes, lawsuit means you got to go in front of a judge. I don't have a problem going in front of a judge. It's not that I haven't done it before. I've done it dozens of times, dozens. But what didn't happen in the past is I wouldn't be hit in the head or the arm or the leg before I go into court. Yes, I need to go to the media. That's the thing. You thought it was a shotgun. That's not what it looked like. It looked like an explosion. A shotgun does not have this huge white light in the background. There's no light coming out of a shotgun. This was one of those flash grenades. Let's see. If you don't archive stuff offline, evidence meaning these evil bastards deleted, please invest in a USB drive. Yes, I have all of these things. Maybe if you're sick, you get to Zoom it. Let's see. Well, yeah, although the judge is probably a Mason. You only heard it, but I'm looking at the image of it right now, and it was a huge light. It completely illuminated the foot of my driveway and the county road. Oh my goodness, Nettie, I did not know that. I have not had time to watch news today, other than what I've heard in the background, flipping through YouTube videos. Let's see. So it's claimed that the first Freemason was Nimrod, who built the Tower of Babel to war against God. Food for thought. Yeah, I think that was in that professor's video. Oh, that's so interesting, TG. The chat watching increased to 38 from approximately 30 right after that. Oh, isn't that interesting? Yeah, because they're my criminal neighbors watching. They think they're funny. They think that they're not going to get caught. If I file a federal civil rights lawsuit, every one of them will be getting a notification. Every last little effort down the block, the sheriff, the county lawyer, all of them. Every one of them. Including the lawyer that I sent a letter to today. Let's see. I don't know if you guys remember that in March of 2025, I called Dr. Rebecca Caleb Wilson at the Anvil Veterinary Clinic to obtain a veterinary appointment because of the animals that were being dumped on my property. I wanted to get 2 female cats spayed. I didn't know anything about the cats other than they were dumped here, and I wanted to get them spayed before they got pregnant. The long story short is that she refused to give me an appointment. She said I'm not friends with her friends, or something to that effect. She didn't get me. So she had already had preconceived notions because somebody contacted her in advance to not give me an appointment. So I recorded it. She refused to give me her address. At first, I thought they were just accidentally disconnecting me, but then I realized that they were hanging up on me. So I filed a complaint with the Kentucky Veterinary Insurance Board. And I will tell you how corrupt the entire state is. This is how corrupt the state is. So I filed the complaint in March 2025. Evidently, the little weenie girl, the little immature, unprofessional veterinarian liar, contacted an attorney in Manchester, Kentucky. He evidently sent a letter in August of 2025 to the Kentucky Board of Veterinary Examiners. But guess what this little effer lawyer forgot to do? He forgot to copy me on his letter. He just forgot to copy me on the letter. So he sends a response to my complaint to the Kentucky Board of Veterinary Examiners and forgets to copy me on an August 26, 2025 complaint. And then today, I get in the mail a letter from the Kentucky Board of Veterinary Examiners dated May 18 of 2026, giving me a copy of the August 2025 letter and something signed by the vet also in August 2025. We're talking more than 9 months later. Almost a year, a response. So this lawyer who doesn't have a website, has no educational background, who's wiped the internet clean of anything related to him, fails to copy me on a letter to the veterinary board in response. And then the veterinary board says that, well, we've performed our investigation, right? We performed our investigation based upon his August 2025 letter that I was not copied on. And they said that they had a meeting and they discussed that veterinarians have a right to refuse any patient. Therefore, there was no apparent violation of the practice. Okay, really? So I spent this afternoon responding to both of this agency and this piece of crap lawyer who didn't copy me on a letter from August 2025. No wonder he doesn't have a website or anything on the internet. He probably has no clients. Let's see, has anybody else had people singing along to your song lists? In particular, let's see, and if he's in a relationship, but it must be a bad one because he spends a lot of time on me. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Oh, Nick says, I've had vets tell me they're not taking new clients. Lurkers lurking. Okay. Okay, got you. Got you. Yeah, please remember to hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. So anyway, this flyer that Spark put out, SPARC, Stalking Prevention Awareness and Resource Center. It talks about technology facilitated stalking behaviors. The impact of technology facilitated stalking is vast and not just as invasive, threatening, and fear inducing as an in-person stalking. It's also called cyber stalking or online harassment. The technologies and tactics used by abusers in technology facilitated stalking constantly evolve and may seem impossible or unrealistic when you first hear about them. But stalkers are creative and often go to great lengths to terrorize victims. Like my neighbors with the flash grenades. And I'm sure the stupid ass, sorry ass sheriff is involved in that too, you little weenie boy. You are a little fucking weenie boy, sheriff. Gotta be a little weenie boy to harass a senior citizen, you piece of crap. Stalkers are pervasive in the ways they monitor, surveil, contact, control, and isolate victims, as well as the ways they damage victims' credibility or reputation. Nearly half of all stalking cases involve both in person and technology facilitating stalking. So I would venture to say that a flash grenade would be considered some form of technology. A firearm of sorts, a flash grenade, is a form of technology. In fact, many offenders combine their technology abuse activities with in person forms of stalking and harassment, such as telephoning the victim and going to the victim's home. Most stalkers engage in multiple tactics to scare their victims and often change and escalate those behaviors over time. Many stalkers combine behaviors that are crimes on their own, like property damage, trespassing, harassment, with other tactics that are not criminal on their own, like sending gifts or text messages. But these behaviors can be criminal when part of a stalking course of conduct. Asking specific questions about stalking behaviors instead of using the word stalking is a better way to assess if a victim is experiencing stalking, because many stalking victims do not use the word stalking or fear to describe their experiences. They're more likely to say something like, my ex gets all their friends to put nasty comments on my posts, or I blocked an old coworker, but they keep messaging me from new accounts, or my neighbor won't stop calling me. Documenting all stalking behavior, no matter how minor it appears, will be essential to a stalking victim's case. To help identify both technology facilitated and in person stalking, consider that stalking includes a wide range of threatening and disturbing behaviors that can be classified into 4 categories: surveillance, life invasion, intimidation, and interference through sabotage or attack. And I will post this in the chat. Oh, did you hear the raccoons? I hear some growling on the porch. I hear a little growling, like little huffies. Probably because they ate all the food and they're expecting me to give them more. I had a landline in New Jersey, and I tried to get a landline here, but they were ridiculously expensive. In addition to the fact that the internet connection here is significantly more costly than it was in New Jersey, and in New Jersey I had a landline that was included in that fee. So I ended up disconnecting the landline. And also the landline here, like if I call Lexington, it's considered out of the calling area and they charge more money. Okay, so this is from the Technology Facilitated Stalking Behaviors flyer by Spark. Stalkingawareness.org. Surveillance is the most commonly identified stalking tactics that includes watching and gathering information about the victim. Ways that a stalker may use technology to surveil a victim includes monitoring online activity, access online accounts, email, social media, banking, use location tracking apps and software, using GPS or Bluetooth tracking devices, use cameras or audio-video recording devices, use smart home devices, find the victim in online spaces they frequent, seek information about the victim online, use technology to monitor the victim's schedule, routine, work, school, activities, and methods of transport. Of course, everybody in the chat probably understands this about surveillance already, but for those individuals that are new to what is happening to you, these are some of the methods of surveillance. Life invasion describes the ways that the offender shows up in the victim's life without the victim's consent, like throwing a flash grenade on your driveway. Ways that a stalker may use technology to show up in a victim's life include unwanted contact online, through text messages or phone calls, emails, or other platforms, impersonating the victim online, in text messages, phone calls, or through other platforms, impersonate others to access the victim, masking or spoofing phone numbers or social media accounts, access or hack into a victim's accounts or to cause harm, use technology to find events and locations that the victim frequents and show up at them knowing the victim will be there. Join online groups, events, or spaces with the intent to upset, worry, frighten, slander, monitor, or humiliate the victim. Create online profiles of the victim with the intent to humiliate them and ruin their reputation. Have unwanted gifts or online orders delivered to the victim. Spread rumors about the victim online. Humiliate the victim online. Harass the victim's friends, family members, colleagues, or others close to the victim online. Intimidation. Many behaviors are intimidating when considered within the totality of stalking behaviors and when the victim and offender's relationship and history kept in mind. Threats can be explicit or implicit. Ways that a stalker may use technology to intimidate a victim include the following: explicit or implicit threats made online, blackmail, sextortion, threats to post private info, photos or videos, real or fake, threats to interfere with online accounts, threats to use technology to interfere with property, employment, finances, threats to harm. I would say that throwing a flash grenade on my driveway is a threat. In fact, it is a terrorist threat. Threats to destroy or impede access to technology, online accounts, and or digital files, photos. Threats to ruin the victim's reputation or humiliate them in a specific online space that is important to them. Threats to damage or destroy technology or limit or remove a victim's access to technology. Engage in symbolic violence online, like posting or sending violent photos or videos. Lorna says, everything that happened in my life, I can see how I was herded into it. Yeah, it was a flash bomb. Regular people can't purchase things like this. Yes, it's militia or stolen. It's definitely illegal. Absolutely. Well, remember, the sheriff is probably right there watching. And you have to remember, this is Kentucky. You don't think my neighbors have tons of illegal weapons? Do you think their weapons are registered? You kidding me? This is Kentucky. These criminals, they would never give up their weapons. Never. They probably sleep with them. They have them dangling from their waistlines as their second appendage. They'll send submarines. We don't have any water deep enough around here to send a submarine. Yes. Yes, I'm seriously considering that, JJ. I'm seriously considering it. Land Shark says they have more weapons than teeth. Probably some of them. Probably. They have more weapons than scruples, that's for sure. These are the kinds of people that need to be assessed to make the determination whether or not they are psychologically sound enough to possess one. I would venture a guess that if certain aptitude tests were provided to my criminal neighbors, that they would not pass. Absolutely. It's absolutely domestic terrorism, and you have a right to defend yourself. Then I don't agree. And yeah, so this flyer was interesting by Spark. If you go to the Spark website, they have dozens of flyers. They have them in multiple language. They have them in Spanish. They have brochures. They've got flyers. They've got booklets. So for those people that like to post things in public places, these are already ready-made flyers. You can go to that website and find them there. Well, they're absolutely not human like us, because malignant narcissists and psychopaths do not possess even the same brain functions that quote unquote normal empathic people possess. Oh yeah, that was my neighbor, the blonde-haired bitch. Yeah, that was Mary. That neighbor, that video that you saw of me and my neighbor, that was the first time I had ever met her. Imagine the first time you meet your neighbor. It's almost a year after you move here, and she's trespassing your legally surveyed property, posting no trespassing signs on my property. Yeah, that's the way I've met her for the first time ever. Imagine. And then she has the audacity to say in the video, "Well, you're not that neighborly." So let's call the kettle black. Hi, Miss Matson. Welcome, welcome. Yes, yes. The two-part testimony that I just posted, is that what you're referring to? That's not my testimony though. Is that the one you're referring to? I agree, River Bluff. I absolutely agree. I have I post comments on other people's channels that are not targeted. I post comments on lawyer channels. I posted a comment on the Institute for Justice about Kentucky and about what I'm experiencing. And lo and behold, another Kentuckian responded that she's targeted too. So it pays to post comments on other channels that are not targeting channels, because you never know when you're going to find somebody else. So I found another female targeted person in Kentucky who is also following the Institute for Justice, obviously. I have not erased anybody's comments. If there was a curse, if there was like a curse word or something, a YouTube would have automatically hit it. Some of the things that YouTube will automatically hide are hashtags that are not posted by me. A hashtag, a curse, the F word. Yeah, that's a good idea, River Bluff. Because believe it or not, there are so many people talking about it and waking up. So many people talking about it. And the links that I posted in the chat about stalking and stalking with the use of technology, you could just print those out. You can email those. You can attach them to an email, like an email list. You could probably post them on Facebook and Twitter, your Twitter accounts. Hi, John Smith. Welcome, welcome. Remember to hit the thumbs up. They absolutely use directed energy weapons on pets. They've killed so many of my pets. And I can't show you. I can't even show you on YouTube. But when they kill my cats, I make sure that I photograph every part of their body, especially their eyes. And my cat Lotus, they had sliced the corneas in her eyes, and her eyes were black. Her golden eyes were black. Yes, think how many people they are just salivating to put on the lists. Oh my goodness, they'll put their own children on the list because they're just that perverted, predatory, psychotic, and greedy. They have an insatiable lust for tormenting other people because they are psychotic, they are sick, and they will be going to the pit of hell. And from my mouth to the universe's ears, within 2 years, that piece of crap sheriff is going to have something really bad happen to that little fucking baby son of his. And how do I think it's a baby son? Because they put their poopy diapers in front of my mailbox and they engaged that child into stalking as an infant. That's how they engaged that child into stalking me, by placing that child's feces on my private property. This is how they include their children in stalking and harassing of people for profit. They start them as infants. But they don't get it. They don't get how the universe works. They think they're God-fearing. Their God is Lucifer. All the fuck Masons around here, their God is Satan, Lucifer. All of those nonprofits they have, they call themselves a religion. They are not a religion. They are a cult. And they practice the occult. OCCULT, because they are occultists. Thank you for the reminder. Very soon. Let's see. Matt says, I sat and watched film a microscope view of nanotech building a structure in a stack of magazines. I filmed it as it grew. You can only see the swirl of activity and the thing grow. Oh, absolutely. We absolutely do. The handler is usually from a fusion center. It's often from a fusion center. I should say I should not say always or usually, but it can be from a fusion center. Yeah, I don't like that word either, land shark. In fact, I actually, until only a couple of years ago, I didn't even know what that meant. Because in my definition of what a handler is somebody that trains dogs, okay? And my understanding of a handler is a handler trains dogs, okay? So, yes, there are a bunch of psychopath terrorists. Yes, absolutely. But they want to project it onto us because they want to instigate trouble because there isn't enough crime in this country or around the world. There isn't enough crime to justify their absurd pensions and salaries. Let's see, Caviscout says handlers manipulate and brainwash their assets. Oh, the reminder about not saying the curses, the curse words, the bad words. Let's see, have there always been this many sites? No, there have not been, River Bluff. I even wrote a paper about it. That we are creating a society of narcissists. We have been grooming, our society has been grooming narcissists, and with the use of, and this is for educational purposes only, I'm not a medical doctor, this is not medical advice, but we have been grooming society in multiple ways, and it was mostly through pharmakia, okay? And huge starting in the medicating of children falsely diagnosed with ADHD. And no, I ain't never going to shut up about that either. I'm never going to shut up about that. They have been medicating millions. We medicate more children in this country than any other country around the world. We have the highest levels of quote unquote ADHD in the United States than any other part of the world. And you know what's ironic is in the Amish communities, there's none. None. Zero. I can't imagine why. So, yeah, so the reason we have more psychopaths, more narcissists, more sociopaths is because we have been creating a society of those people with because we are controlled by the deletes, those people that have all the money are psychopaths. They are narcissists. They don't care about anybody else. And they have been doing it in multiple ways. One is through the food supply, two is through the water. The biggest is through pharmacia, through all the prescriptions. Um, they give them to pregnant women, they give them to babies, they give them to teenagers, they gave them to prepubescent boys and girls. They're doing the hormone replacement therapy, the puberty blockers, the hormone therapies. Oh, we cannot forget the steroids that all the coppers are taking. Half of them won't live to the age of 50 anyway, so I'm not even concerned about it. Nobody should be concerned about the cops taking steroids because they will never get their pensions. And you know what? The powers that be know that. You think they're stupid? You think they want to use all these people and not get money back when they have to pay out all these lawsuits that are being won by people around the country against them? Oh no. No, 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 no. So no, most of them will never see their pension. I'm just predicting that. You can tell me I'm wrong in about 20 years from now, but I won't be around. I probably won't be around anymore. But let's see. Let's see. The inmates are running the asylum. Absolutely. Let's see. You do perception manual. Looking back, it always stood out to me. At the time, this was probably an early indicator of my awareness of my covert targeting. We went to a funeral, talked to 15 different people. They all said they were on a bunch of. Absolutely. Do you have any idea how many women and men are on pharmaceutical drugs? They decide they want to conceive a child. They're still on pharmaceutical drugs, both of them. And then they wonder why. They wonder why they have a stillborn baby. They wonder why they've got children that are learning disabled. They wonder why their kids can't walk. They wonder why their kids have to have brain surgery as soon as they're born. They wonder why. It baffles the mind how stupid people are. When I buy a piece of food, I read the label. I want to know what's in the food I'm ingesting. Who doesn't want to know what's in the goddamn pill that you're being prescribed? I just don't. It really baffles the mind that somebody will take at face value a prescription without looking at the research. I'll give you for example. I've heard about that, John. I've heard that also. Yes, when you think outside of the box, you become a threat. They will medicate you. These new kids come in with a higher vibration. That's exactly right. That's absolutely right. I mean, I guess some people think that it's crazy terminology, but there were the indigo children and then the crystal children, the crystal children that are born in the 2000s. These are the very, very psychic children. The indigo kids are the ones that could multitask like crazy. They don't even have to pay attention. They surreptitiously absorb stuff from the environment. But those are the kids that they were medicating. They were heavy, heavy in the 1980s, the 70s, especially the 80s kids, the 90s and the 2000s, off the charts. I think I mentioned when I was writing my master paper at the time, and like, forgive me for not quoting these statistics accurately anymore. So I'm going to say, so let's say at the time I started doing the research, 2 to 5 million kids in the US were being medicated with Ritalin, Concerta, and Adderall. By the time I finished 2 years later, it significantly increased. I believe it was close to 8 million children medicated. But at one time, you had to be at a minimum of 5 years old. No, no. By the time I finished my paper, by the time I was finished with school, they dropped the 5-year-olds to the age of 2, and then they started medicating infants. Imagine an infant labeled with ADHD that needs an SSRI. Imagine. Is that nuts? Yes, absolutely. And there's some of those things that I can't say those words. John, I mean, you could write them, but I can't say those words, okay? Yes, but when you think out of the box, somebody said that maybe you became targeted because of what you were researching. Like I felt like it's sort of like after I got divorced, people treated me as if I had a disease they didn't want to catch. Well, when I started talking to people about the negative side effects of medicating their children, oh my God, the feedback I got from parents, it was crazy. I felt like I was speaking to aliens. That's how I felt. I felt like these people are absolutely nuts. And now, all these years later, and I'm so glad that somebody at least is speaking out about it, but there is a doctor on YouTube, Dr. Yosef, and he worked for the FDA. He was a board certified psychiatrist who decided that he did not like what was going on. And he created what is called the taper clinic. And what that means is that when you're placed on these drugs, he claims that you cannot just automatically go off of them, that it could take years to taper off one pharma prescription. Now, this is what he says on his YouTube channel that is completely blown up. Dr. Yosef. Yes. So now he's interviewing on his channel people who have been harmed by pharmaceutical drugs. They're mostly young people. How this drug destroyed their life, how that drug destroyed their marriage, how that one destroyed their parents. Why do you think there is an explosion? And I'm not saying that like, with any kind of a humor, but there has been an explosion of young people offing their parents. Why do you think that is? I'll give you, take a guess, like do 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 do. Okay, the bell's up. All of those kids that deleted their parents, guess what they were taking? I'm not going to go into it. Every last one of them. Every one of them. Every one of those kids that deleted their parents. There were one of two reasons they did it. One, they're on the meds, and two, they were on transitioning drugs, which makes them crazy. Makes them crazy. So, and that's on the unfortunate thing. I mean, you can't see this stuff happening. It's so obvious. It's just so obvious. But anyway, so yeah, so that's what's happening in this world. So everybody out there, all my neighbors, I'm sure they medicate their kids too. I know that half my neighbors are taking drugs. In fact, I've had people tell me that one of my neighbors is crazy. That's just the local gossip, right? Like I'm not really part of the local gossip, but you never know when a UPS driver or a Federal Express driver or some other delivery person knows somebody that tells you something wonderful. So, yeah. So now you said something about the ATIX. I don't understand why that would I don't understand why that comment would be deleted because a lot of people have mentioned that the ATIX is a method of communication that's used that the stalkers use that form of communication to get notifications about the people that they're targeting. Is that right? Is that what I know I did a video on that. I don't know, probably last year on the ATIX. And then other people said that there are other apps that they use too. So I don't know if people are writing anything in the chat. Like the last comment I saw was at 11:46 p.m. The lower level stalkers are cannon fodder. Well, I think that most targeted people, I mean, not only the ones that I've interviewed, but even in listening to your comments, your sense of humor. Many of you are artists. I see your comment. Yes, I see your comment. I see your comment, River Bluff. Yes, yes. But a lot of you guys are artists. Oh, well, that's good. You have 4 children. Oh, my goodness. Wow, congratulations. It's a lot of work raising children. Oh, yes, they communicate through neighborhood watch type programs. You know what? Somebody told me too that they also, the ham radio operators, they probably have different methods of communication. And you know what? I would venture a guess that different communities have different types of communication avenues that they find better for them. I get, it could be depending on the area too. Like maybe in the suburbs or in the cities, they have different kind of way methods of communicating than in like a rural area like this. Like we have a lot of trees, um, and there's a lot of distance between houses. Like I noticed in New Jersey, what they would do. I mean, they were always using their phones, but because the houses were so close together, and my mother even witnessed this. Like when I would leave the house, and this was the time my mother was there, she would go out on the porch and just want to see what was going on. She witnessed multiple neighbors walking out of their house and communicating to other neighbors, like sending signals that I'd left. Oh, good night, SDL. Good night. We're going to be closing up here in about 10 minutes anyway. Yeah, the neighborhood they probably have their own kind of app stuff, and who knows, maybe in good night, SDL. Have a great holiday. I mean, are you doing anything for the I mean, I don't know. I don't really celebrate Memorial Day. But for all the people that served, the veterans that served that are treated like SHIT, they definitely deserve better. It sounds like coven coven activity. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. They put black goo in your mom's slipper. Did you take photos of it? And do you have John, do you have a YouTube channel? Every neighborhood is different, and I would just venture a guess that they have different communication methods in different communities, depending on the location and I would imagine the number of people who are involved. But they have to collaborate and share information. Oh, you will soon? Oh, good. I think you should. With all the information you have and that you've collected, it would be really important for you to have that, I think. You should definitely want to post your information in different places. Oh, thank you, STL. STL says, Lorraine, before I go, God bless and congratulations on 7 years of kicking butt. I appreciate it. It's Substack. Oh, yes, Substack is very good. Yes. Yes, Substack is very good. I have a Substack as well. I have Substack. It's under my name. I haven't posted, oh my goodness, since last year. I have to. I want to. You get shadow banned on X now and then. I'm very rarely on X. Well, thank you, John. Well, I'm so glad that whomever was in the chat at 10:43 p.m. heard the explosion at the foot of my driveway. And to recap, from my camera footage, there was a vehicle with the headlights on driving down the county road. Then the light of the flash. No, then there was the sound. I heard the sound first, and then the light of the flash. And that seems to be consistent with all the other times. So there's a little lapse of time between the flash and the sound. It kind of reminds me of like when you hear thunder. So you'll hear the thunder and the lightning comes afterwards. That's what it was like. And it was extremely bright. And I'm sure that it upset all the neighbors' dogs. But I guarantee they already told my neighbors, put your dogs inside. Because I did not hear any dogs barking. Put your dogs inside because we're planning on this event. I did not hear the little yappy dog down the block barking. I did not hear the Pyrenees barking across the way. They probably locked those dogs up so that they would not go nuts. Yes, the echo in the distance. Exactly, exactly. And that's what I noticed because you've got a lot of trees. A lot of trees, and I'm in the flat area, so I'm in the valley, and they're surrounded by trees. And this is what I've noticed: like even when it's a gunshot, you hear an echo, and I don't always know where it's originating from because of the echo. I have to literally kind of zoom in. I have to be outside with like no birds chirping, no roosters crowing. Um, And it would only be like this time of the night when it's silent that I would know what the direction is coming from. Yes, light travels faster than sound. Yes, I saw the flash, then hear the sound. Okay. Yep, no dogs barking at all. No coyotes. No coyotes. Could you imagine all the animals around here that have babies? How freaked out they were when that happens. But they don't care because they're psychopaths. Until it happens to them, they will never learn their lesson. They will never learn their lesson because they're greedy, predatory, psychopaths, lower level of consciousness, and they act from their limbic system, their limbic brain. That's it. That's it. That's the only way to describe them. Their brains are different than yours and than mine. They do not process information the same way. So anyway, does anybody have any plans for Memorial Day? I'll make sure that if they detonate any more bombs on my driveway, to post the videos up online as soon as possible. And just for anybody who did not hear, that Romola D is home. Yes, yes. Canadian holiday was last Monday. Remember my fallen brothers and sisters that served our country. Absolutely. And that's what Memorial Day is, remembering those who served this country, who served the country, who risked their lives for our alleged freedom. So, anyway, I'm going to thank you all for joining in. And thank you, Joe, for moderating. Thank you for your comments. Yes, she's home. Hi, Annie. Yes, she's home. And let me just find the email. So let me just find it. I could read it to you guys. Okay, so this is what Romola says on May 23rd, 2026. Just a note to all to let you know that I am back home now this May midweek after an extended hold on a court ordered discharge after I appealed the committee, commit, and have much to attend to. Will return to my work just as soon as I can. Thank you all so much for your words, prayers, emails, and calls. They have helped immensely. Best to all, God watches over us. Stay close in prayers always. Romola. Yeah, so Romola is home, and it's very good news. Very good news. Somebody driving on I-71 shot and killed another driver in an old Prius painted red a few days ago. Perps here are painting old cars red. I think a perp pushed somebody too far. Well, it's very possible, and I'll say that the perps will push people too far. They think that they are protected, but you never know when the right person at the wrong time will snag their sorry asses, and they will not have any protection at all. You never know. You never know who it's going to be. You never know who's going to snag your ass. You never know who's going to get you arrested. You never know who's going to file a federal lawsuit and name everybody. You never never know. You never know. So keep throwing your fucking grenades on my property, because I will make sure that every one of you is arrested. Let's see, do I think the red car is a symbol or nod to the Red Squad? So that's very interesting. That is very, very interesting. That is a good point. You don't know. Well, everything that they do is about symbolism, right? And the red cars could be symbolic of red squads. But anyway, I appreciate all you guys joining in the chat. Joe, thank you so much. Joe wishes all of us a good night, pleasant dreams, and nice to see new names joining. And thank you so much, Joe. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. And remember all the people that risked their lives for this country. They fought for this country. And some of those people that fought for this country are now targeted. That's the thanks they get. Some of them are homeless and targeted. That's the thanks that they get. So anyway, on that note, good night, everybody. And I'm going to end the live stream now. And thank you all for joining in. And Romola is home. And the explosion was at 10:43 p.m.